welcome two distinguished leaders, expert, coach, and leadership practitioners from different African countries who are willing to share with us their expertise and experience, more specifically in leadership and branding. Without further ado, let me start by introducing Dr. Eno Praise. Dr. Eno Praise, welcome today to the Africa Next Gen Academy. We're very happy to have you here, and we're always happy to collaborate with you. We remember very well our collaboration in 2018 in Morocco at the Pan-African Humanitarian Summit, and we continued working together in Nigeria and also virtually through different online platforms. Dr. Eno Praise is the Chief Strategic at Todoroki Africa. He's the strategic global consulting firm that provides branding, corporate training, human resources, innovative strategy, consulting operations, and he's the best expert, more specifically in personal branding and e-reputation. We're very happy to have him here to share with us his insight as the world is going today digital. So we will be hearing from him from best practices and also lessons learned from branding. Dr. Praise is also the co-founder and West Africa director of the Pan-African Leadership and Entrepreneurship Development Center, PALADEC, which is a community-focused leadership, social entrepreneurship, and capacity development charitable organizations. He's also a managing partner at the Wealth Advisors Council. So welcome, Dr. Eno Praise. We're happy to have you here. So without further ado, my main question is, what are your take on and advices for young people who are aspiring to develop their personal branding and also their reputation, more specifically online and within the context of a professional environment? Welcome.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Karima. Well, basically, my major advice when it comes to personal branding is looking inwards. Personal branding is about you. It's not about anyone else. It's about you first, because you have to be able to sell you before you can sell any other thing. So the thing is, if you cannot sell yourself, then don't bother selling anything. So I'm not just going to be telling you, but I'm going to be taking you through a process. So I'll beg to share my screen if I can. Okay. Okay, can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. Great. So Karima already introduced me in praise. And this is me. When the first thing you get to notice about this image is that it has a crown, and then it has the head of a lion, and then it has my name. Now, this is my identity. When you see this, you see me. Now, having a logo is part of a personal brand. It is not personal branding. Logo is not personal branding. It is part of personal branding. So we need to clarify that. So let's just go forward. Thank you very much, Karima, for having me. I do not take this for granted. I mean, every opportunity to impact lives is a great opportunity, because the life you impact today will definitely do something better for the community and for their nations tomorrow. So I thank you so much for this opportunity. And then I will always say it is a great day. It is. Every day is a great day. Trust me. It's a day to change your perception. It's a day to change how people think about you. It's a day for you to get something new. It's a day for a new experience. It's a day to learn different things. Every day is a great day. Every moment is a great moment. So do not take this moment for granted, because this might just be the moment you need to change your entire life and entire business, your entire educational structure. Today is a great day. Now, so let's go into the business of today. The brand called you. There is a brand called you. So what is personal branding? Personal branding is powerful, is polished, and is professional. Now, when you look at someone that has an impeccable personal brand, these are the three things that you will notice. That the person is powerful, the person is polished, and the person is professional. These are three things that would always stand out when you see someone with a great and impeccable personal brand. You can never miss it. So your brand is what people think of you when they think of you. So the question comes, when people think of you, what do they think? When people see you, or they see your picture, or they see your image, what comes to their mind? So I like using these illustrations. When you see him, what do you think? Bishop T.D. Jakes, when you see him, what do you think? When you see Nelson Mandela, what do you think? When you see Barack Obama, what comes to your mind? When you see Beyonce, what comes to your mind? When you see the image of Elon Musk, what do you think? When you see the picture of Aliko Dangote, what do you think? Or when you see the picture of the owner of Virgin Atlantic, what do you think? Richard Branson, what comes to your mind when you see the picture of Richard Branson? When you see Oprah Winfrey, what comes to your mind? When you see Denzel Washington, what comes to your mind? What pops up from your head? When you see Angelina Jolie, what do you think? What do you say? What resonates with you? When you see Tyler Perry, what do you think? When you see Mark Zuckerberg, what comes to your mind? Or when you see the Queen Reina of the Kingdom of Jordan, what comes to your mind? Now, these are impeccable people with brands, with personal brands that are standing. When you see Michael Jackson, what comes to your mind? So when people think of you or see your image, what comes to their mind? You need to be able to explain this. You need to be able to build something, a perception that would stick to people's mind positively when they think of you. So what is personal branding? First, let's clarify some terms. There are basically three types of brands. So we have the corporate branding, we have the product branding, and then we have the personal branding. The corporate branding talks about organizational branding, when you want to brand your organization, your business, and all of that. Then we have the product branding, where you brand products like the iPhone, the Nokia, the Samsung, the LG, name all the products you can name. McDonald's, KFC, all of that. Those are product branding. And then when it comes to personal branding, this is talking about you. It's talking about you, your person, your personality. So these are the different types of branding: corporate branding, product branding, and then personal branding. So branding, in essence, what does it say? Branding in any of its embodiment is all about image. Remember when I said it's about you, your image. So it's about your image, your influence, the perception, and then the reputation. All right. So branding is in any of its embodiment is about image, influence, perception, and reputation. With regards to personal branding, the basic question it tries to answer is this: how can I influence the perception that others have of me in order to enhance my reputation?
Yes, Dr.
So
Dr.
this is a
Eno,
very
actually,
basic
I have a question about this. Actually, yeah,
Go ahead, please.
what you said is quite important in the sense that I always see it like a trio. where you have to identify how you are perceiving yourself first, and then how others are perceiving you, and what image you want people to look at you or to have as a reputation.
Yes, yes, it's actually like that. Because what I said here is it's all about your image. How do you see yourself first? What image of yourself do you want to see? Then the influence. So you need to be able to identify what you want people to see first. What image do you want them to see? What kind of influence do you want to have? What kind of perception do you have about yourself and then you want people to see? What reputation do you have about yourself? And then what reputation do you want people to have of you? So it boils down to you first. You need to be able to identify it first before you can now begin to work towards it for people to now grasp it. I hope that answered your question.
Yes, yes, go ahead.
All right, great, 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 great. So let's move on. So of the better definition of personal branding, in my view, I mean there are a lot of views and different definitions, different interpretations of personal branding. But in my view, I could say that your personal brand is the mental picture others have of you. It is the sum total of values, talents, and actions that others tend to automatically associate with you. So your personal brand is the mental picture others have of you. Now, when you put it up together, it is the total of the values, the talent, and actions that people associate with you. So what values do you have? What talents do you have? What are the actions you're taking? When people put all of this together, it creates a mental picture of you in their mind. Let's look at this. The figure beside shows the ideal nexus of condition required for all successful personal brand. So I say, providing what you do best. So what you ask yourself, what do you do best? It's a question you need to ask yourself. What do you do best? What is it that you do best? And then to people,
Dr. Eno, are you here?
who have a clear demand for it. Who are the people? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes.
You can hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. So to the people who have a
Hello?
who are the people that have, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So the second one is, who are the people that have a clear demand for what I do best? And then the third one is, while you're basking in the knowledge that your competitors struggle doing what you do. So what is it you do best? Who needs it? What are your competitors struggling with? So when you discover all of this, when these three factors merge together, you are in your sweet spot with your brand. So you discover what you do best, and then you look at the people that need it, that demand it the most, and then you understand what your competitors do not have, which you have. Like I will always say, it is not what you don't have that limits you, but what you have and you don't know how to use it. So what is it you have that your competitors don't have, and you're using it to your advantage? When you merge these three factors, then you are at your sweet spot with your brand.
Go ahead.
So why should I care about personal branding? I mean, a lot of people say I don't need to care about it. It's none of my business. I can just go ahead with my life, and then everything goes smoothly as it ought to. But I beg to differ. That is not true. There are more than 100 reasons why you should care about your personal brand. Deeply care about it. It's very important that you care about your personal brand. So your brand is your reputation. How important is it for you to have a good reputation? How important is it? If you want, I mean, you want to have a good reputation. How important is it for you to have a good reputation? You've heard the expression, perception is everything. It's really true, which means that if you don't proactively brand yourself, hear me, if you do not proactively brand yourself, that is, build a powerful set of professional attributes, others will assign a brand to you. Trust me, if you do not brand yourself, others will brand you for you. And listen to me, you may not like what they come up with. They might call you anything. You want to see yourself. For instance, I see myself as the African foremost executive process strategist, and that's how I want people to see me, and that's how people have been seeing me. But guess what? If I didn't build this brand, people will give me a different brand which I might not like. And it's the same thing with everyone. If you do not build your brand proactively, other people will assign a brand to you, and you may not like what they come up with. So I will always say, Google yourself, search yourself. When you type up your name in Google, what comes out? What do you see? Do you like what you see when you Google your name? Do you like what you see? Is it what you want people to see when you Google up your name? And then I will say, your brand is who you are, what you do, why you do it, and who you do it for. Remember the sweet spot? What you do best, and who are the people that demand it. All right, and then the things that you have that your competitors do not have. So your brand is who you are, what you do, why you do it, and who you do it for. So what makes up a strong personal brand? That different things, different attributes, different things that make up a strong personal brand. So I would say you have 5 brief questions that will answer this. And someone will be imagining, how can 5 questions answer a question? Let's proceed, let's see. Now, so the first thing is, are you visible? Does your network, or do your customers, or do your clients, or do your audience know you are out there? Are you visible? Are you being seen? Are you being noticed? So that's the first question you need to answer. So the second question is, what do you do better than anyone else? What makes you the go-to guy for this or that? Are you unique? What's your uniqueness? What makes you stand out? What makes you different? The third question is credibility. Do people perceive you as being authentic, genuine, believable? Are you credible? People will do business with people that are credible. So first, are you visible? Are you being seen? When you're being seen, people will do business with you. And the second one is, are you unique? Are you different from others? When you're unique and you're selling a different product or a different service from every other person, people will come to you. And the third question is, are you credible? When you are credible, you're authentic, you're believable, you're genuine, people will come to you. Then the fourth question is value. What are the benefits of doing business with you? Are they relevant to the market? How relevant are you? What's your relevance? What's your value? So when people place this, I will always say to myself, Elo Praise, you are valuable. You have value, and you produce value, and you give value. So you need to understand the value and the relevance you're bringing into the marketplace. And then the last one is emotional connection. Do people feel an emotional connection with you or your services or your product? How connected are they when they come in contact with your product or your services, or when they come in contact with you as a person. So let's go to this. How do you build a overnight and it just happens? No. You know, when they say that consistency is key, you have to be consistent about it. You have to be consistent about it. Every time you have to do something, every day, every minute, to build the steps. Now, if you look at this, it's a steps. It's not an elevator. It's a step. So it's something you need to climb on a daily basis to be able to achieve that. So how do you build? How do you build? So first of all, you need to understand the brand attributes. Determine your brand attributes. So what are your brand attributes? Understand the special skills and talents you have and how they can be used in the market. So what are the skills you have? What are the talents you have? Now, how can they be used? You need to first understand that. Now, from that information that you've developed, you now understand the special skills and the talent you have. You put them aside. And then the next thing is develop what might be thought of as your brand attribute profile. After discovering your skills and your talent, you now develop what I call the brand attribute profile. Pay special attention to those attributes that clearly differentiates you from others. For instance, I know that I am the expert when it comes to personal branding and executive presence. So I pay attention to it. I develop it every day. So there's something I call it the 3Ds. So you discover, you develop, and then you deploy. Right now, what I'm doing is deploying, because I had discovered, I had developed, and now I'm deploying. So I deploy on a daily basis. I discover on a daily basis, I develop on a daily basis, and then I deploy on a daily basis. So every time you deploy, you grow and move to the next level, and then you get to learn more. So determine your brand attributes. Now, these are different brand attributes. Brand attributes are functional or emotional associations that are assigned to a brand by its customers and prospects. Brand attributes can be either negative or positive, and can have varying degrees of relevance and importance to different customer segments. Now, example of brand attributes are how influential are you? How innovative are you? How inclusive are you? How relevant are you? How connecting are you? What's your leadership skill? How humane are you? How sympathetic? Because you need to have empathy and sympathy for people to be able to sell products or services. And then the next one is develop your brand and build your brand platform. Now, if you look at this, you have everyone on the table with different social networks. Now, the social networks are your platforms. When you understand that you need to develop your brand and then build a platform for yourself, now your platform could be Facebook. Your platform could be Twitter. Your platform could be Instagram. Your platform could be LinkedIn. But make sure that you build a platform. So based on the result from phase 1, decide exactly which attributes are your strongest, most credible, most well differentiated, and have the greatest potential for producing benefits that appeal to your target customer. Summarize your unique value in just a brief phrase, like a tagline. Now, when people ask me, now this is I love it when people ask me what to do, because this is the most wonderful and the most amazing period in my life. I call it the tagline or the elevator pitch or the punchline. You're doing business, you're doing service, you're selling a service. You need to have a tagline. You need to have a punchline. So people usually ask me and say, so what do you do? And then I just I run it in seconds. And I tell them, I said, with a personable approach and personal inspiration, I help business professionals create executive presence, image, and style that helps them attract opportunities in 90 days or less. Now, with that, it gives you a perception of what I do and who I am. So you need to also understand that you need to develop your brand and then build your brand platform. All brands need a platform. And be sure you have determined what your communication hub will be. So, like I said earlier, it's either you want to be on LinkedIn and have that as your platform, depending on the kind of people you're looking at for. If you're looking at for the professionals, then you have to be on LinkedIn. If you're looking at for the young, the 21st century young people, then you can do Facebook, and then you can also do LinkedIn. But most importantly, you should have a platform for your brand. And then the next one is deploy your brand. I talked about deploying earlier. All right, I talked about deploying earlier. You need to deploy your brand. Let people know you exist. Let them know you exist. Let them know you're there. Like the first question that was asked is, are you visible? Are you being seen? So let people know you exist. Communicate your brand message with clarity, consistency, and regularity. These are three key words that will make you stand out: clarity, consistency, and regularity. Attend networking events, write articles, comment on blogs, comment on posts. When people post something that resonates with you, comment on it. Connect with people on social networks. Start to view your brand platform as the launching pad for your brand message. Because if you do not, like I said, if you do not deploy it, you might just be wasting your time, because no one will know that you're there. So deploy it every time. The next one is maintain your brand. Just like you maintain your clothes, you have to maintain your brand. Just like you maintain your electronics, you have to maintain your brand. All right. So get in the habit of monitoring and maintaining your brand and performing necessary repair work, usually via Google Alerts. Now, for you want to know every time people Google your name, what are they Googling your name for? So you can go to Google Alerts and then create an alert for your name. So just type in your name in Google Alert and then set an alert. When people Google up your name, it gives you a notification. It alerts you. Oh, someone just Googled your name. Someone just checked you out. This is the best way to be able to maintain your brand and then be able to correct whatever thing you don't want that might have been wrong with your brand in time past.
Dr.
Now,
Eno,
what are the biggest? Yeah.
I do have a question.
Okay, please go ahead.
I want to take you a little back in the early stages of the presentation. First of all, thank you for the wonderful presentation. And my question is, when it comes to building my own personal brand, let's say when it comes to LinkedIn as a platform, what are the most important values that I need to focus on to have and to project a good image for the public and for the connections that I have in my platform?
Okay, great. For LinkedIn, if you check LinkedIn, LinkedIn is I would say 99.9% professional. All right. So the first question you ask yourself is, what are professionals looking for? Are they looking for someone they're going to babysit? Are they looking for someone that will bring value to them? Are they looking for someone that would help them grow? Are they looking for collaboration? That's what people are looking for in LinkedIn: collaboration, value, growth. People they can connect with and do business. People they can learn from. So you ask yourself, what are the values? What are the talents? Now it still goes back to what I said earlier. What are the talents and the skills you have that others don't have? I mentioned, like I always say, it is not what you don't have that limits you, but what you have and you don't know how to use it. So you need to look inwards. What are the things you have that people need? What value can you bring to the table? It could be communication skills. It could be writing skills. It could be how to package proposals. It could be design skills. It could be connecting skills. You know how to connect businesses. So when you're building your profile and building your brand on LinkedIn, outline your strongest skills and your strongest talents. That is what people are looking for. That's what people are looking for. Let people see the strong part of you, the things you offer, the skills, the values, the talent. Let people see that. That's what you should showcase. Yusuf, I hope I answered your question.
Thank you so much. I couldn't phrase it any better. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. All right, so what are the biggest challenges of personal branding? What are the biggest challenges? Now, developing a strong personal brand can pose many obstacles for those who attempt to do it completely on their own. Now, people will always say, yeah, I can do it on my own. I want to build my brand all on my own. But trust me, you can't. And I'll say this with all amount of authority. You cannot build your brand all by yourself. You need a professional. That's why we are here. That's why people like Sherry Hills is here. That's why you have people like Karima in different aspects, depending on what area you want to get into. You need professionals to help you build your brand. You cannot build your brand alone. So for people that think that they can build their brand alone, let's look at this. Objectivity. This is one of the challenges they have. It is very difficult to be objective about yourself. That's the reason why so many individuals who start up trying to brand themselves ultimately fail. Because they think they can do it by themselves. They think, yeah, I can do it. I can design my stuff by myself. I can brand myself. I can do everything by myself. And then they refuse to see the part where they are making mistakes because it's all about themselves. They're trying to do it by themselves, which is not possible. So I would always say, trust me, get a professional to help you and to guide you in building your brand. So, and then you can also do that by going through my book. It's called The Brand Strategy Guide, Understanding the Brand Process. Now, developing a viable brand and brand identity is quite challenging. It takes a whole lot of time. Now, if you're not careful, you could sit down doing that for years and still not be excellent about it. I don't want to say be perfect about it because there's nothing like perfection when it comes to personal branding. Perfection is something that is in your mind. In the strive to get perfection, what you get is excellence. All right. So it involves design psychology and a solid foundation in marketing, particularly inbound marketing. The process includes discovering your strongest brand attributes. Like I told you, Yusuf, you need to understand and discover what are your strongest brand attributes. What are the strongest talents that you have and the strongest skills that you have. And then the second one is developing and maintaining the brand itself with identity, strategy, and positioning. And then the third one is deploying the brand effectively on the internet. You have to always deploy. It is good to discover, it is good to develop, but you cannot be profitable if you do not deploy. It will not profit you if you don't deploy. Your profit comes in deploying what you have discovered and developed. So always
Dr. Eno, can you
develop.
explain the notion of profit here?
Okay, when I say profit, now you've taken time to discover what your skills are, your greatest talent, your greatest skills and your gifts. And then you develop it, you grow it, you nurture it, and then it becomes something that people want to associate with, right? When you begin to deploy and begin to talk about those things, it gets to a level where people begin to pay you to help them develop what you discovered and you're now deploying. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, but I'm still going to explain that later on in the presentation, so you really get to understand it. All right, so communication. Developing a robust brand is one thing. Deploying it effectively is quite another. The challenge is to be able to do both successfully. Deployment is how well you communicate your brand. So how well do you tell people about the things you do? How well do you dish out the information about the things you do, about the products you sell, about the services you offer? How well? So you see, people that want to always do this alone would not necessarily get it right, because the professional will see the aspect of the communication that you're not seeing. So they will help you build your communication, help you build your the punchline, like I said earlier, help you build your punchline, and also help you build your tagline, how you can effectively communicate your brand. And then the other one is consistency. Doing it alone from the beginning, you will not be able to be consistent about it. So you need people to help you. You've got to be rock solid in terms of getting your brand message out in a consistent manner. Consistency is key. You have to be consistent about it. It's not something you do today and then you relax tomorrow and then you do it the following day, and then after 2 days you're not there, and then you do it the following week. No, that will not grow your brand. Consistency every day. Put out something that talks about your brand, that will connect with your audience. Every day, put out something. It could be just one line, it could be just one word, but put out something that will connect to someone's mind. And then the paradigm shifts. You have to begin thinking like a publisher of great content, not an advertiser of a great product or service. So people are not about the product or the service. Get it? People do not necessarily care about the product or the service. What they care about is the content and the experience they get from the content. So, as someone building a personal brand, you are the product. You are the container. Now, what is in the container? So you could be all dashing and all smashing, all right? And then you come out, there is no content. People will run away. So build content, start thinking like a publisher of great content, instead of seeing yourself as an advertiser of a great product or service, because content is what will get people coming back to you. All right? Content is what will get people coming back to you. Because now in the 21st century marketplace, people gravitate towards demonstrable talent than they do towards covert marketing. All right? People want content. Give people a reason for wanting to connect with you, and they will. So why are why are people connecting with you from all over the world? It's because I have content. It's because I have something to offer. It's because I'm adding value. So build content that will bring value to people, and then people will keep coming back. Now, what are some misconceptions people have about personal branding? A lot of people, they have different misconceptions about personal branding, and I don't understand why. It's I would say it's simple, but it's not as simple as I would say it, because it's a lot of work that you need to put into building a personal brand. So the first one people would think, and they always say, is my title is my brand. I don't need a brand. I have a title. I'm a doctor. I'm an ambassador. I'm a governor. I'm the president. If that were true, anyone with an impressive sounding title could convey his or her value, talent, and unique benefit with her little title alone. I dare you. Now, I mean, I will always say this, that I dare you to find anyone with a title that can accomplish that. Just because you're a doctor, you have the title doctor, it doesn't mean you have a brand. All right? It doesn't. You need to consciously build a brand for your title to be effective. So you can just have the title for just having sake. Yeah, I have a title. But your title does not make you have a brand. It is your brand that validates your title. It is your brand that makes your title credible. It is your brand that makes your title what it is. So just having a title will not give you a brand. It will not.
Excuse me, Dr. Eno, I think this is a very valid point and important to share with our participants, because there are many in the process of, building their reputation, whether offline or online. They think titles probably are more important, but the content you talked about and the value added is much more important, because you could be, for example, an expert in, let's say, in communication. In your city, there are maybe 5,000 experts in communication. Why should I choose you and not choose the other? What makes the difference?
Yeah, true. Because, like I said earlier, the sweet spot, when I was talking about the sweet spot, when you discover what you have, and then what people are in demand of, and then what your competitors do not have, then you've entered the sweet spot of your brand. So it's not just about having title. To have titles is good. I mean, it's good to have titles. But build your brand to make your title credible. All right, build your brand to make your title credible. It takes too much time and effort to establish a personal brand, and I believe that my time investment will exceed the benefit I accrue. Now, this is one myth, this is one misconception that people have. Yeah, because, I mean, it's going to take too much time. But trust me, yes, it does take time and effort to build your brand. But trust me, your investment in branding is what gives your marketing its influence. It is your investment in branding that gives your marketing the influence. So if you're marketing without a brand, you're marketing in an identity vacuum. Okay? People don't really know you. So why would you expect them to place value in your advertising or marketing collateral? You don't have a brand. You're just selling. For instance, if you were to buy a soft drink, and you walk into the shop and you see a bottle of Coca-Cola with the Coca-Cola brand on it, and then you see a different bottle with nothing on it, which one will you buy? Which one will you buy? The Coca-Cola.
The one that is already known.
Yes, the Coca-Cola, because it has a brand on it. So when you do not build your brand, you are like that product that nobody knows. There is no information about you. There is no identity. Like I said, you are marketing in an identity vacuum. It's empty. So no one will place value in your advertising and marketing. They won't.
Dr. Praise,
Yes.
thank you for giving the last example, the soft drink example. So in regards to that, we can we can consider our branding as a commodity to to give it to the public to this extent.
Yes, you're yeah. As a commodity, you as a person, you are the service, you are the commodity. All right. So I'll
Thank
still
you.
go back to the Coca-Cola. When you buy Coca-Cola, are you buying the bottle or you're buying the content?
Bottle.
What are you buying when you buy a bottle of Coca-Cola? What are you buying? Is it the content or the bottle?
Well, I guess we buy it because of force of habit. So I think I'm buying the bottle more than the content because I can choose a Pepsi or another brand, but still.
Okay, so
But
when you're buying
but
a soft
but,
Content.
drink,
but
when
yes,
you're
the
buying
content.
when you're buying the soft drink, are you buying the bottle or you're buying the content?
The
Content.
content, of course, the content.
Content. So when people see you, they see the bottle, they are not buying the bottle, they are buying the content, they are buying what you have inside of you. Does that make sense?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
it.
you are a product, you are a service, you are a commodity. But what is the
Probably.
value? What is the value of that commodity called you?
Mhm. Probably, I think when we buy things like Coca-Cola, for example, first of all, it's because we know we tested, and because we reach a stage of what we call brand equity and loyalty.
Yes.
So we are more reluctant to buy a new brand that we don't know, that we have not tested enough,
Yeah.
than having,
Like a
by
new brand.
tradition, to buy what we know, what we
Yeah.
recognize, what we tested.
Now, now, how were you able to test that? Because you've used it over time, and then it's been advertised over time. You keep seeing the advert of it, and then you've also tried it. You trust it. Now, your personal brand is like that product. When you consistently deploy your brand, people will use it, and then over time, they will start telling people about your brand. When they get to trust your brand, they start recommending your brand to other people, to the extent that when people see you, they immediately go out for you instead of going out for some other brand that they do not know. Why? Because you've been recommended to them. Why? Because other people have used you over time, they've interacted with you over time, they trust you, they understand you, they're in connection with you, and then they have been able to recommend you, and or should I say, use the word advertise you to other people.
Definitely, that lead me to another important question here, because you mentioned something quite important here, is people are recommending you because they know you, that you've been advertising through time. And
Yeah.
time frame is important, and there are many who are working on their brand and reputation, but one of their problems is that they're trying to do advertising and publicity all at once, in the sense that they became a consumed image in the media, and that people having that media fatigue of seeing the same person all the time in all the subjects, they're not working rationally. So my question here, what are the don'ts? We talked about how are we building efficiently our brand and reputation, but what are our don'ts that we need to take into consideration while building our brands?
Okay. Great, great, great question. What are the things you shouldn't do? First, there is nothing like too much advertising, because I call it aggressive branding. aggressive advertising. Now, if you are not seen on a regular basis, you might skip people's mind. So they need to keep seeing you. I mean, so you ask yourself, why does Coca-Cola advertise every time? Even with the huge market they have, they keep advertising. I tell you the truth, Coca-Cola they do not need to advertise anymore. But guess what? They still advertise. They are still out there. So, like I will always say it, become a nuisance in their face. Make sure they see you every time. Make sure they are reading something from you. Make sure you're dropping the bomb every minute. Listen, there are people that will not buy from you, but trust me, there are certain set of people that will always buy from you. So it doesn't matter how often you advertise. It doesn't matter how often you market. Now it is in your advertising that people get to buy from you. Okay, so when it comes to marketing and personal branding, you need the word consistency is an everyday thing. So I don't think there is a don't when it comes to visibility. You need to be seen, you need to be heard, you need to be outstanding, you need to be visible. So it's an everyday thing. I don't think there is a don't in it. Because if there's a don't, trust me, most Fortune 500 companies that have made it won't be advertised until now. Because they still need money. They still need people to see them, that they are there. So it's not just because they need money, but they need to keep reminding you that, we are still here. We are still visible. We are still alive. The company is still growing. The company is still expanding. You can do business with us. So it's not necessarily about the money, but they are telling you that they are still alive. All right. So daily advertising is very necessary every time. Very necessary.
Dr. Praise, just to give an example,
Yeah, go ahead.
as growing up, Steve Jobs, he always stated that he always wore the same clothes, jeans and a black turtleneck shirt and the white sneakers, so that he can help establish himself as a brand. You also had an almost cult-like following, and people felt that as long as he was in charge of the brand Apple, it was going to be good. And we also
Yeah.
saw an example of that after he died, where people start disqualifying the company as a whole because the brand itself, which is Steve Jobs, went away. So thank you for
Yeah.
clarifying that point.
Yeah, great. And Steve, one thing about personal brand, when you're running a business, let me clarify this. For instance, when Steve Jobs was running the Apple corporation, at a point he was kicked out of the company. But guess what? They didn't survive because he built the brand around himself. So when you're building a brand, build it around yourself, irrespective of wherever you're working, so that when you step out, hear this, when you step out of that place, people can still follow you. But if you build the brand around the business, when you step out, people will follow the business. Build your personal brand around yourself. You're working in a company, you're working for someone, wherever you might be working right now. It could be your company where you have shareholders. They might just kick you out. But trust me, if you build a brand around yourself, you build your personal brand around yourself, that's why it's called personal. If you build it around yourself, when you step out, people will still follow you. And it's the same thing that happens to Steve Jobs. When he was kicked out, the company wasn't succeeding until they brought him back. So you need to build, when you're building the brand, build the brand around yourself. Thank you, Yusuf, for that contribution.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so the next thing people say is my logo is my brand. Amazing. Absolutely not. Anyone can have a logo, but to have a logo that instantly gives your name and brand recognition, you've got to have a brand message planted before the brand identity is conceived. All right. So you want to have a logo? It's a good idea. Go ahead and have a logo. But trust me, you will have to plant what I call the brand identity first. So what is the brand identity? Who are you? What do you want to be known for? Plant that first before you now think of having a logo. Get your brand built and be happy wearing it. Then get yourself a logo if you so feel like. All right? Get yourself a logo if you so feel like. I have a logo. I have a logo. So, I mean, at the top of all of my presentations, you see my logo there. So get yourself a logo if you need one. As a matter of fact, you need one. Every
Dr.
business
Eno, I'm
person.
curious why you made a lion and a crown.
Okay, guess what? Let me explain this logo, the lion and the crown. Now, the lion is the king of the jungle, right? Yeah, the lion is the king of the jungle. And then, now, from my belief, I emanate from the lion of the tribe of Judah, which is Christ. So I have authority, and then I have a personal scripture that is personalized to me that God personally told me. He said, I have made you a king and a priest. So the lion represents the king. And what you see up there as the crown also represents the king and the priest. And then you have my name. So I am a king. Now, the word king is broken down into different letters. King. So I'm a kingdom influencer. K. I'm an institutional influencer. I'm a nation influencer. N. I'm a generational influencer. So now you understand my logo?
Yes,
So I'm
it's
a
very
king.
interesting.
Interesting.
I'm a kingdom builder. I'm an institutional builder. I'm a nation builder. I'm also a generational builder.
You know,
KI.
actually, this is something interesting in Brandon, because some would think that only the logo is the brand, whereas it's a whole package. And
It's a whole package.
actually,
Yeah.
even when you're designing your own logo, it needs to reflect part of you, part of your personality and what you're doing, in the
Yeah.
sense that people either would understand or would find it mysterious, but at least it is reflecting who you are.
Yeah, it is because if you look at what I do, I I build kingdoms, I build institutions, I build nations, and I build generations. So we're talking to kingdoms, CEOs, presidents, prime ministers, governors. That's the kingdom, building the kingdom. And then when it comes to institutions, we're building MDs, CEOs, managers, employers and employees everywhere. And then it comes to nations. We're building nations. We're speaking to people that have influence in
Okay.
nations, and then they are in turn building their nations. And then when it comes to generational builder, I'm building the young people that will build the generations to come. So it's deliberate. So you need to understand that when you're building your logo and you're building your brand, you need to understand where you're going to, how you want to be perceived, how you want to be seen, and then you take it all from there. I hope I was able to explain that.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Thank you. So, and then the next thing they say is, I don't have a brand. Nah, that's not true. That's just not true. You do have a brand. It may not be the one you like to have, but if you have neglected to be proactive about creating your brand, you run the risk of having people assign one to you. And it's possible that it may be less flattering. They might just assign anything to you. So create your brand, build your brand. And then the next thing is there any easy way to visualize personal branding? This is the visualization of personal branding. So now look at this equation. When it comes to this equation, I love it. I'm usually excited when it comes to this equation, because this is what I do, like on a daily. So you see, the personal brand is equal to your strength. Remember I talked about the strength earlier, plus your value, plus your visibility, and then multiplied by your engagement. Wow. This is amazing. I love the equation because it builds up something inside of me. So I've got strengths, I've got talents, then I've got value, and then I am making myself seen everywhere. I now multiply it by my engagement. That gives me personal branding. That gives me personal branding. Yeah. So here's what it means. Your personal brand is made up of three distinct attributes: your strengths, your value, and your visibility. And the degree to which you are actively engaged with each one. Each attribute alone is insufficient to sustain a brand. So you say you have strength, and then you don't have value and visibility. That cannot sustain your brand. Or you say you have value, and then you don't have strength and visibility. That too will not sustain your brand. Or you say you have visibility, and then you don't have value and strength. That will not sustain your brand. Guess what? Guess what sustains your brand? Your strength plus your value plus your visibility. That is what sustains your brand. Now, a brand cannot be sustained by having just one or two of these attributes. All three are necessary. But even all three attributes combined are still insufficient to sustain a brand. Why? If there is minimal or no engagement at all with each one over time. So if you do not engage your strength, your value, and your visibility every time, it will not help you. So we still go back to this: strength plus your value plus your visibility multiplied by your engagement, that gives you the personal brand. But I'm going to go further to explain this. Now, this is where it gets interesting. All right, this is where it gets interesting. Wow. So it is your personal brand is equal to this: your strength multiplied by your engagement plus your value multiplied by your engagement plus your visibility multiplied by your engagement. So when you add up your strength multiplied by your engagement with your value multiplied by your engagement, and then you still add up your visibility multiplied by your engagement, that gives you personal brand. So you see, at the end of the day, you have to multiply your engagement, because you can just have the strengths, the values, and the visibility without multiplying it by the engagement. There is no personal brand. There isn't. So why is personal brand important? You have painstakingly built a brand. You have built an online platform from which to broadcast your message, your brand message. Now, through your diligent effort, you gain trust by being reliable and by delivering consistently over time. Remember, I talked about being consistent. So the first thing you've been able to do is consistency. Why is it important? Consistency. And then the second thing, as a result of your consistency, watch this. This is interesting. Now, as a result of number one, your brand gives you status in the marketplace. because of his track record for what I call the CVD. Now, CVD is consistent value delivery. You have consistently delivered value. Now, because of that, you have established yourself as someone people know because of consistency. Now, because they know you and they like you and then they trust you, you have acquired the power of name recognition, or even better, brand recognition. Now, because you have been consistent, you have been able to consistently deliver value. You have gained brand recognition. Now, going back to the question, to the answer of um, the value, how you are being paid for your deployment. Look at this. Now, as a result of number 2, which is brand recognition, that came as a result of consistency. Now, are you getting this? As a result of number 2, your brand is now widely known, respected, and valued. You can command the price you seek for your product and services because they are no longer viewed as commodities. When your brand is impeccable, you can charge premium and people will pay.
Actually, that's a very valid point. We experienced it through time, and I think probably one of the most advices to give young people who are in the process of building their brand is patience and working very hard, because it doesn't come quickly. You need to work hard over time, and actually, when you reach the stage of brand recognition, then you are more at ease in negotiating about your
Yeah,
services. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, true. So at that point, because you are in competition with so few others, you have won the battle to negotiate. So people can always look at your product or your service and say, okay, I'm going to pay. You're charging premium, but they're going to pay. Because over time, you've gained brand recognition as a result of consistent value delivery, and then as a result of consistency. So you see, it's a chain reaction. You cannot leave one and go to the other. So it is consistency that brings about consistent value delivery, that brings about brand recognition, and then brings about premium charging. So that is it. This is why personal branding is so important, because when you do it consistently and you do it over time and you're delivering value consistently, you become a brand that is being recognized, and in the process you charge premium and people are willing to pay for it. So you've got to be genuine and authentic. You cannot fake a brand. You cannot be something you're not. You must be authentic if you want to be perceived that way. People look at me and say, they used to call me the quintessential king. You can't catch me dressing down. You can't catch me not being branded up every time you see me. There's something you always want to say about me every time you see me. It's not something you can fake. It becomes a part of you when you do it consistently. It becomes a part of you. You don't have to, well, they usually say fake it until you become it. Now, I would say practice it until you become it. Don't fake it. Practice it until you become it. Practice does not make perfect. Practice makes perfection. Practice makes improvement, rather. Practice does not make perfect. Practice makes improvement. So the more you do it, the more you become it. The more you do it, the more you become it. The more you do it, the more you become it. So you have got to be genuine and authentic. How do you measure up these key brand attributes? Your strength, your value, reliability, visibility, relevance. It's a combination of what I call time. Time, like you said, Karima, time. It's something you do over time. So your key branding attribute must be displayed clearly, consistently, and persistently over time. So you have to keep doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it. The more you do it, the more you build momentum. The more you do it, the more you build strength. The more you do it, the more you're creating value. The more you do it, the more people see you as someone that is reliable. The more you do it, the more you are being visible. The more you do it, the more you are being relevant. So you just have to keep doing it every time. Thank you very much. And I come to the end of my session.
Thank you so much. That was brilliant, Dr. Eno.
Thank
Brilliant
you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
presentation. Thank you for these insights. And I'm inviting, our participants, if they have complimentary questions to Dr. Eno before we move to our distinguished speaker, Dr. Shirley Hills, who joined us. She had some issues of connection, like all of us today, but
Yeah.
finally she's here with us. So if you have questions, just unmute your mic and please go ahead and ask questions to Dr. Eno. Hello? Do you have any questions? Because we asked you so many questions along the presentation. I think that's why
Yeah.
probably many do not have questions. Do you have any questions? I have a question.
Okay, please.
Yeah, I have a question. So actually, while working on branding, I used to work on that, more specifically on e-reputation with my students. And there is something quite interesting that we work on. And I think this is something, one of the bases that we need to do prior thinking about building our brands, is to do a kind of a SWOT analysis of ourselves. Because we don't know our qualities and we don't recognize our deficiencies, and we don't sit with ourselves and say, okay, this I need to improve, this I need to work on, I need to specialize in X, Y, and Z, because at a certain time, we find ourselves doing almost everything without, differentiating ourselves from others. We are in a global market, there is a competition, and probably we're not knowing how to brand and how to advertise and sell ourselves. Uh, more specifically, if you are working in a sector that is consumed by everyone. So you would want to look for the little niche market within the global perspective of the field that you're working on, so that you can bring a value added to yourself to be more recognized by others. Like when you are specialized in something, for example, people would look for your services and they try your services. They keep calling you because you either respect deadlines, you have a niche service that others would not be able to provide, or the process, the regulations of a certain, donor or whatever. So you have something that distinguishes you from others. So why people would call me and not call others? And how am I rationally working towards building my own name? Whether you'll start from your own little community to at the regional level, then national level, then you became an internationally recognized brand. And here, when I talk about brand, I talk about a person versus talking about a product or corporate. Maybe unmute your, yeah.
Okay, so first of all, like I said earlier, it's about personal branding. It's about you. It's not about the product. It's not about the services. It's about you. So you need to build yourself first. And then, first of all, you need to understand what you want. What do you want to be known for? Many years ago, I said to myself, I may not have what a lot of professionals have, but I know what I want to be. I want to be able to add value to what the professionals to add value to the professionals and give them what they don't have. Now, that is executive presence, because check it, most of them do not have it. They don't know how to talk, they don't know how to dress, they don't know how to communicate, they don't know how to shake hands. So I said to myself, okay, I want to bring this value to these people. So I started developing myself, learning, doing online courses, taking certifications, and then I said the 3 Ds. I called it the 3 Ds, which is the first D is discover. So I discovered it, and then I began to develop. I began to study, and then I began to deploy. At the initial stage, you have to deploy for free. Trust me. You have to do pro bonos. You have to teach for free. You have to impact for free. Now, in deploying for free, there's something we call free to fee. I call it the free to fee. From doing free sessions, I migrated to doing fee sessions where people get to pay for my sessions. So what you need to do is just begin to deploy it to the people around you first. Talk about it. Whenever I'm with my friends, I begin to talk about executive presence, personal branding, image branding, customer experience. I just talk about it. I could just sit with my friends and just start talking, and they'll just be listening and be writing. Every time I meet people, we just start talking about branding. Yeah, free to fee.
Yeah, I think that's quite interesting because I agree with you. While you are building your brand and reputation, you are volunteering in a certain time by giving a lot of free services so that you can be recognized. Yeah. People would test your services, you will be recognized, and then later they will call you without even, yes, trying to apply for something, because they recognize the value added of what you're doing. They will start calling you by themselves. Then you will move from free to fee. Yeah.
So fee. Yeah. I'll give you an example. Some time ago, we wanted to get into the to train bankers. So we wrote to a certain bank, and we knew that they weren't going to pay us because, I mean, we weren't yet a brand, So we said, okay, we're going to give you this 3 days free session, just so you can see what we can do. And I said, okay, no problem. And then we said, usually this is what we charge for. We did them a letter. Usually this is what we charge for our training session. And then for a 3-day training session, this is what we charge. But we're going to do it for free, pro bono for you, because we want you to be able to see what we can do, so that next time you can get to pay us and then also recommend us to other banks. And then we got in there with my team, from Lagos, some from Abuja, some from Calabar, and then we gathered, went to the bank, did the training, wowed them for 3 days. Guess what? At the end of the 3 days training, they paid us our fee. Because we gave them value.
Absolutely.
We gave them value, and they were like, wow, this is amazing. So when you have discovered that area that you want to be in, and then you begin to develop it, look for means, look for ways to deploy it. Because nobody will pay you after developing it, you put it in your pocket and just sit in the house. No. That would be a waste of time and waste of talent and waste of resources. Begin to deploy it. Look for means to deploy it. Tell it to everyone. When you have the opportunity to talk to people, talk to them about it. You can never know who will take it out and say, we know this guy. I mean, he's good in this, he's good in that. We need to bring him into our company. And then learn to sell yourself. Every opportunity you have, every person you meet, learn to sell yourself. Sell yourself to them. Tell them what you do. Tell them what you do. Sell yourself. Sell your services. Sell your products. Sell your value every time. That will give you
Thank you.
leverage.
Thank you so much. That was very, very interesting. I'm going to ask you just my last question before we move to Miss Shirley.
Okay.
If I ask you to give top 3 advices to young people, what would be?
Top 3 advices when it comes to personal branding or anything.
Personal branding, let's say personal brand and reputation,
Okay.
and maybe one
Okay.
general one.
A
Okay.
combination of both.
Yeah.
What? I didn't get that. Yusuf?
No,
I
he
said
said a combination of both.
Oh, combination of both. Okay. First of all, be patient. Building your brand is not a fast food. It's not like a fast food restaurant where you rush into, order the meal and then walk out. No. Be patient. It takes time. It's like building a house. All right. You first have to clear, you first have to buy the land. Let me put it this way: you first have to source for the land and then buy the land. Then after buying the land, the next thing you do is you clear the land. Now, after clearing the land, the next thing you do is you excavate. All right. After excavating the land, you now begin to dig your foundation. After digging your foundation, you make your foundation and bring it up to the DPC level. Now, after the DPC level, you begin to raise it up, depending on the kind of house you're building. Now, if you're building a skyscraper, if you want your brand to be out there and let the whole world see, then what you're building has got to be deep. What you're building has got to be deep. All right? Your foundation has got to be deep. But if you're building a bungalow, I mean, you can just do any foundation. All right? So it takes time. It's a process. It's a ladder you have to climb. It's not an elevator where you hit in, press the button, and then it takes you up. No, it's a ladder you have to climb. All right? So it takes time. Be patient. And then the second thing is that you have to be deliberate. Don't just guess. Don't just take anything. Be deliberate. Sit down, think, decide, and say, I want to be known for this. And then go all out. Put in your everything to make sure you achieve it. And then the last thing, the advice I will always give is that you have to be seen. You have to be seen. So it is good to take your time and build what you're building, but where it profits you, because everything you're doing is for profit. All right? Everything you're doing is for profit. So where the profit will start coming is at your visibility, when you are being seen. Okay? So those are my three advices. My advices are: be patient. It takes time to build your personal brand. And when the other one is, you have to be deliberate about it. You have to be deliberate, decide what you want to be, and then be visible. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Dr. Eno, for these insightful advices and also for the great, great presentation. Be sure that we are recording the session, and we're going to schedule a live session with wider audiences and participants. As I'm receiving a lot of requests because people are interested in this theme. So I think we will do a live broadcast wider than just the participants at the academy. So
Okay.
we will send you information when we're going to rebroadcast. We're going to edit the video and then rebroadcast it. Thank you so much for being with us, and let me move thing to Dr. Shirley.
Thank you very much. Thank
She's
you very
having
much.
an issue of connection. I hope she's connected again. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Thank you.
For,
Thank you for
thank,
having me.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
We thank you. I mean, it was very, very, very interesting. You know, I'm doing branding courses, but I learned a lot today with you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I think Dr. Shirley is back. Are you here?
Yes,
I
yes,
think
she
she's
is.
here. So let me try to, I think she's here. I hope she's not having an issue with connection. Okay, let me introduce our next speaker. Next speaker is Miss Shirley Hills, who is a communication, business, leadership, and management consultant and trainer for top brands, businesses, organizations, and governments, and an executive business networking and lifestyle expert for high and ultra high net worth individuals. So we're pleased to have her with us today. And she also serves on a fair amount of boards and is the principal consultant of Crutus Consult, a first-class development, management and training consultancy focused on people development through leadership and entrepreneurship advancements for organizational success, nation building, and global transformation, a premier subsidiary of the Crucis Prestige Groups. So welcome, Ms. Shirley Hills. We're very, very happy to have you here with us. And she's going to share with us her insights about transformational leadership, which is a new concept. So let's begin by defining what do we mean by transformational leadership, and more specifically in the digital age.
Great. Thank you very much, Karima. It's a pleasure to see you and to also listen to my brother and partner, Dr. Eno Praise, who I hold in so much high esteem. Okay, so I'm not a doctor. I know sometime during his presentation you addressed me as such. I'm not a doctor, but of course we would get there if that is the goal. Okay, so good evening, everyone. I really must start first by apologizing for tuning on, but for some reason, my connection is a bit flaky today. So pardon me, it keeps logging me out and bringing me in. I hope we do not experience that going forward. Okay, so basically this topic is mostly about optimizing your life. I believe I'm talking to young people and you know, people who want to up their game, people who want to up level and who want to raise their game in life and in their careers. So optimizing your life through personal effectiveness and self-leadership. The best form of transformation is the one that begins from within, right? That's my understanding. The best form of transformation is the one that begins from within. You know, now I must establish this fact that not all caterpillars become butterflies, right? Not all caterpillars become butterflies. But you see, the caterpillars that transform, that metamorphosize into being a butterfly are those that were able to, you know, tough it out, because there are a lot of distractions, adverse, you know, situations or conditions that that would hinder the caterpillar from becoming a butterfly. But how you tough it out, how you stay resilient, how you know, stay strong as a caterpillar determines whether you become a butterfly, first and foremost. Now, there are no superhumans anywhere. You know, in my understanding, there are no superhumans anywhere. You know, what makes us have wings to fly, in my opinion, is how effective we are in leading ourselves, in mastering ourselves and leading to what Dr. Eno established in the course of his personal branding presentation. He made us understand that you need to know who you are. There's that place of identity. There's that place of identity. Now, you cannot lead others. You cannot transform lives if you first have not been empowered to transform. So transformational leadership starts with self. And how can you achieve that? You achieve that through personal effectiveness. You achieve that through personal effectiveness. Okay, so I got my notes here and I'm just going to dive straight in. Now, like I said, there are no superhumans anywhere. It is high personal effectiveness and self-leadership that gives us wings, that gives us a cape, you know. So what's the difference between someone who is, you know, experiencing an optimal life and experiencing success in successions, in, you know, subsequent turns, and someone who is just, you know, living a mediocre life? It is your personal effectiveness. That's the foundation of everything else you're going to do. You need to build that value before you're able to offer value. Great. So what is personal effectiveness? You know, for me, personal effectiveness is the level or the measure to which you can use all of the resources that are at your disposal to achieve your goals in order to achieve success and significance. Now, when I say success and significance, is because transformational leadership moves beyond success. Now, there's so many people out there who are looking to succeed, They just want to achieve success. The game has changed. The game has changed for people of value. The game has changed for people who are building nations. You know, if you recall my short bio that was being read, we develop people to be able to achieve organizational effectiveness, of course, personal effectiveness, organizational effectiveness, nation building, and global transformation. You can't take up huge leadership roles if you are not fortified, if you are not empowered, like I said earlier, to do that. Now, I'm not going to give my 4-year-old son, I have a 4-year-old son, I'm not going to give my 4-year-old son the keys to my car. In as much as I know that everything I have, he's got access to it, right? So I'm not going to give my 4-year-old son the keys to my car when I know that he does not have the capacity to drive a car. Not because of his age is just a number, but the capacity. So transformational leadership first starts by building capacity, empowering yourself enough, so much so that you can empower and transform others. I'm not gonna vote you into power or you know, recommend you to be a CEO if you lack the capacity. Young people nowadays want to go into the fast lane. Everybody wants to become a president. Everybody wants to become a coach, a consultant. Everybody wants to attain the C-suite level. But how many have fortified themselves for that position? How many have fortified themselves for that position? That's why I say at the foundation of everything you do is your personal effectiveness. Personal effectiveness is what gives you the capacity to build and become who you really want to be, to build and become the leader that can serve and transform others. We are moving beyond success to significance because it's not all about the success, the personal success that we achieve or attain. It's about how we are able to transform lives. It's about how we are able to be significant in nation building, in global transformation. Okay? So personal effectiveness is that tool, is that skill, is that foundation that you need to build upon. And there are some key pillars of personal effectiveness that you need to understand, and we're going to address that right away. Okay, so first off is awareness. You need to be aware. But what are you being aware of? What are you being aware of? I have a code I use, which I call the IPSL code. You need to be aware of your identity. Dr. Praise has talked about that. You need to be aware of your identity, your purpose, the solutions you bring, and the legacy you want to leave behind. Transformational leaders are identity conscious. You might want to write this down. Transformational leaders are identity conscious. They are purpose driven. They are purpose oriented. They are solution they are solution giving. They are out here to give solutions, and they are legacy focused. So that's the IPSL. You need to be aware. You need to be clear. What is my identity? Who am I? And what am I here to do? What do I want to, how do I want to serve my world? Yeah, IPSL. I is for identity, P is for purpose, S is for the solutions and strategies, of course. Solutions and strategies. And L is for legacy. So who are you? Because you cannot be everything to everybody. You're not called to serve everyone. I tell people my gifts and talents are not for everybody, right? I cannot be a strategic communication expert today and I am a footballer tomorrow. There is the place of identity and honing down on who you are, because you can't be all over the place. You can't be all over the place. P is for your purpose. When you are clear, there's a place of clarity of purpose. When you are clear of what you want, you know, you are able to lead your organization, lead yourself, lead the people around you, your teams, you know, you are able to lead them in the direction that they should go. Because you can't come up today and say, okay, the organization is going this way and oh, the organization is going that way. There's got to be a clarity of purpose in everything you're going, in everything you're doing. Now, when you have clarity of purpose of what you are here to do and who you are called to serve. Your purpose is not, the purpose of your purpose is not for your purpose. You want to take that down. The purpose of your purpose is not for your purpose. Your purpose is to serve others. If your purpose is only to serve yourself, then you're just here to exist. Because you are here for a purpose. There is an assignment upon your life. There's an assignment. There's a reason why you set up an organization. There's a reason why, I mean, we want to create solutions. We want to provide solutions for organizations, for nations, for people. You know, so what is that thing? What is that unique purpose that your organization, your business, your vision is called to do? And then when you have identified the purpose, you now identified who your purpose has to serve, who your purpose is to serve. Because for instance, in Christos, we are not called to everyone. We are not serving everyone. Who does your purpose serve? Who does your business serve? Who does your vision serve? When we talk purpose, we're also talking vision and assignment. Now, having identified that, we move over to solutions and strategy. You need to define, what solution do I want to create? What solution do I want to offer? And it's not enough to just leave it at that. Okay, I'm a solution provider. How are you providing solutions? That is where strategy comes in. That is where strategy comes in, because you need to be clear. You need to clearly define the strategy with which you're going to serve your purpose. And when you've done that, you define your legacy statement. How do I want to transform my world? How do I want to be, what dents do I want to create in the world? You know, your legacy is here to create a dent. And by dent, I mean to create an impact. So what impact, what legacy do you want to leave behind? Okay, the next is to accept responsibility for your life. And you're going to accept responsibility for your life through your thoughts, your actions, and your associations. You're responsible for the people who come in contact with you. You're responsible for the people you keep within your network. You're not responsible for the people that come in contact with you, but you are responsible for the people that you keep within your network. Because like I said, you are not called to everyone. A transformational leader understands that he's not here to transform everybody. You need to know who your purpose and vision are serving. Okay. So we'll move to D. I said we're going to use the acronym address. We're going to D now. A was awareness and acceptance. D is define success in your own terms, on your own terms. You need to be able to, you know, Because young people nowadays, you know, the Instagram life, I think that's what we call it now. Everybody wants, you know, the fast lane. Everybody wants to show what they're not. But you need to be careful enough to define success on your own terms. Until you do that, you would never feel fulfilled. You would run the rat race. You would be caught up by the shiny object syndrome. You know, you need to be able to attain the transformational leader status. You need to be clear. How do I want to define success? What success is for me is different from what success is for you. For you or for some other person, success might just be to get a Lamborghini. Success might just be to be the owner of a private jet, to be the owner of a Rolls Royce. What is success to you? How are you defining success for you, for your business, for your family, for your organization? What does success mean to you? Define it. Okay, I think at this point, I just want to ask one or two people in the house. In your own opinion, what is success to you? What would you say when you see success? How do you define her? For me, I define success. Okay, I'm just going to leave you guys to do that. Karima, is it open for people to share at the moment?
If they want, they can speak at any time.
Okay, so what does success mean to you? You could write it in the comments or you could share, but I really want to hear from someone. What does success mean to you? Perhaps we're going to use that as a case study to go forward.
Mm-hmm. Let me start first. Actually, you said something quite interesting about defining what we mean by success, because some people would see, for example, famous stars as successful from their perspective. Others would see the impact people are leaving in others people's lives as success. And others would see the success in the process itself, not at the achievement, actually, because they think that the success is the learning process that they see, and the evolution and the growth that they're seeing. And usually people, when they're defining success, they look at the picture, but they don't look at the process. They don't look at the efforts people are making to achieve that goal and be successful, actually. So people are defining it differently according to the environment, according to, let's say, media biased images that we got about what success means. So personally speaking, I see it in the learning process, in the evolution of from point A to point Z, and then from the impact I'm creating on people's lives. When I see, for example, if I'm in philanthropy, if I help people and see smiles on their faces, for me, it's success. But people are defining it differently.
Okay, so thank you very much, Karima, for sharing. I want to hear from one of the people in the room. I want to hear from someone in here. Share with me what success means to you. Now, let us, before you do that, let me establish the fact that at every point in our journeys, our definition of success changes. Because once you make an achievement, you want to up level, you want to go to the next level. So your success change, right? So what success meant to you 10 years ago may not be what success means to you now. So it's okay to be in a particular journey and say, okay, this is where I'm at right now. You know, you may have a very large, grandiose dream, but where you are right now, how do you define the next level? You know, for most people, why they are so overwhelmed is because looking for the step right in front of them. That is success, the step right in front of you, the one thing you need to do now, you know, and that's what makes people not to increase their effectiveness, not to optimize their productivity, to be able to attain, you know, transformational leadership. they want to look at, they look at the big picture, like you said, Karima. They look at the very big picture and go, okay, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 things. No, you don't need to do 10 things to get to the next level. You need to do just one thing right now to get to the next level of doing another thing, the second thing, and then the third, you know, one step at a time. I've always used this example when I do physical trainings. I get everybody to stand up and I say, try to move with your 2 feet at the same time. It's impossible. You can't move with your 2 feet at the same time. It's totally impossible. You can't use your right eye to look up and use the left to look down at the same time. So I agree with you that a place of process, patience, very important, very key in any endeavor that we put our minds or hearts to. Okay, so still talking about personal effectiveness. Now, personal effectiveness is what enhances and boosts your self-leadership to be able to attain mastery and optimal performance, or you might want to say peak performance. So does anybody else want to go? Tell me what you understand, what you want as your own definition of success. Do we have anybody? Okay, so in the absence of that, the next is develop a system that you trust, one that is smooth, steady, and simple. I've already talked about simplicity in the place of achieving your goals and optimizing your personal effectiveness, you know, to become what you want to become. There is the place of, so there is a place of simplicity, which I've already mentioned, doing one thing, one step at a time. Because when we try to, you know, be so complex with our goals, when we want to become an Obama without first being ourselves, you know, you can't just become a giant. There are steps, patience, you know. So before you, like Dr. Eno said the other time, there is the place of pro bono, volunteering. There's so many things you need to do before you can gain that recognition that you need to, you know, tell people that this is the value you bring to the table. Okay, so you need to develop a system that you trust. This is about strategy now. This is about strategy. For me, I call it routinizing your life, routines. Your personal effectiveness will be a sham without routines. Your personal effectiveness will be a sham without routines. You know, when you wake up first thing in the morning, what do you do? In the course of the day, how are you running your activity for the day? How are you even scheduling your networking? I'm going to come to networking, but you know, in building relationships and all of that, but how are you scheduling your networking? Are you just everywhere? Are you just everywhere? Are you speaking at every event? Are you attending every event? You know, are you taking on every course? Okay, this course has come from Coursera. That are not in alignment with your goals, that are not in alignment with your purpose or your identity. Remember, we started with the IPSL, where I said you need to define your identity, your purpose, the solutions you bring, the strategy on how you're going to offer those solutions, and the legacy you want to leave behind.
I think this is an important point, more specifically, that during this period of time of lockdown with the corona crisis, there have been a lot of webinars, a lot of trainings, a lot of lives, you know, conducted between, more specifically, March to up to now.
Yeah.
And the question here again, are we taking part in everything? Are we interested in all subjects? Are we participating in all trainings? Does it really serve our purpose? Does it add any value to our career or even to our personal development? And even while participating for, as you said, pro bono, for visibility or something, are we really working strategically to choose the partners, to choose also the relevant trainings or webinars, where, and also even the brand of the organizations we're participating with, so that it, at least if you add it to your credits or you add it to your resume, you would say, I took part in, you know, this webinar with a reputable organization, and that it added something to your brand and also for recommendation in the future.
Yeah, I think you used a particular word. I just didn't want to cut you short. You used the word strategic. I love that word so much, and that's from strategy. You know, when you define your goals and you set your goals, you see, strategy helps you to know what to say no to. I tell people all the time, strategy is not only for you to, you know, develop a roadmap to your goals. Strategy is also to guide you to know what to say no to. Because everything right now is demanding for our attention. You know, strategy helps you to say, you know what, this is my roadmap. This is the vision. First of all, this is who I am, and this is what I want to be known for. This is what I am, identity. This is my purpose. This is the solution that I want to provide. So when you bring something to me, you know, like a platform like this, I love to always inspire. I remember you asking if I had a note. Most times when I go for our live trainings, I do that. Webinars too, yes. I'm beginning to, you know, talk about resilience, corporate and business resilience lately. And while I have a plan for self-leadership, transformational leadership, personal effectiveness, and how to optimize your life and all of that, you know, I told myself today that I just want to flow. I just want to flow. So I don't want to be confined to my slides. Okay. I want to be able to flow so that everybody understands where I'm coming from. But of course, I can always send in the slides if the people would need it. It will be a great resource, you know. But what am I saying? I said yes to this because it was in alignment with my goals. I want to be able to impact young people, you know, and we have what we have coming up as Transformers Arise, which you're aware of, Karima. You know, the goal is to be a person of value and impact. So for me, let me go back a bit. Success for me is about inspiration, being a person of inspiration, positive inspiration, of course, impact, and influence. You see, when you're able to influence someone to live a better life, when you're able to influence an organization to do better, to scale, when you're able to influence a nation to take the right direction, that is success for me. That is success for me. Inspiration, impact, and influence. And people always ask, where will the income come from? It's right in there.
We don't hear you anymore. Miss Shirley? I think your camera is freezing. I think she lost connection.
It's there.
Okay.
We heard when Dr. Eno said something about offering a pro bono service. And
I think you're
at the end of the day.
I think she lost connection, right? Yeah.
Yeah, she lost connection.
Yeah. I think
she's lost connection.
Yeah. You know,
so we just hold on for her to come back.
Yeah. She's here. She's trying to connect.
Okay.
You know. it's weird that we're working on digitalization and we're experiencing a lot of connection issues. But true. What she was saying as a part, I think it's really relevant in the sense that, for example, I'm organizing this event, but I'm moderating this session, but I'm listening attentively and I'm learning. So what she said is, when you are looking for certain participation, you have to be more strategic in choosing where to participate, with whom to participate, the content, the value added, and what brings you also to your personal development. A lot of ideas that I got here get me a lot of important ideas about the subject, and also about how are we working again with young people, boosting leadership skills and trying to adapt this to the post-COVID-19 transformational area. And then also thinking, I think she's back. I hope she's back.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah. Okay. You're back.
So I'm back again. Sorry.
No, it's okay. We're having a nice chit chat. We were talking actually about the fact that even if, for example, we're organizing this session, but also we're listening attentively because we are learning something. And that falls within what you've been saying about choosing strategically where to participate and how, with who, and the value added.
Very important. Very, very important, because you don't want to just be everywhere. Another thing I want to say about, choosing or being strategic about where you are or where you, feature in is this: exclusivity sells. You can't be everywhere. You can't just be everywhere, because I used to be everywhere. I must say, I used to be. I thought that was one way to build visibility, like my friend has talked to us about brand building, visibility as a tool to build your brand. I thought it was, a tool for me to just be everywhere, just say yes to everything. But, the power of your no is very important, because, like I talked about strategy helps you not only to develop a roadmap. Strategy helps you to avoid distractions. It helps you to know what to say no to. Okay? So it's important that when you develop a strategy, you know that anything coming your way that doesn't look like it's in alignment with your goals, you can decline. You have every right to say no to it.
That's true. Probably I want to add something, sorry to interrupt you, something as an observation, more specifically during this COVID-19, almost everyone are organizing webinar sessions or forums about almost the same themes. So, and you are invited by so many partners to talk literally about more or less the same thing. So you have to be strategic about not talking and be repetitive about the same thing with many partners. So probably if it is a different theme, probably you could show expertise if it falls within your expertise. And sometimes, yes, we fall into that trap of trying to speak about everything and anything, even if it is not our area of expertise. So we've been like everywhere. We're not strategic about our goals. We're not saying no. And we're not developing that niche where people say, okay, well, Karima is expert in this. So I'm not talking about economy, talking about you, talking about management, talking about anything. So they know you for one or two maximum things that you are really, really expert in. And then you choose strategically when and what and where you're taking part in something. Are you here?
Her screen has freezed again.
Yeah. I think she's here, but just her camera is here. What's your take on about this? I think you know, today we are talking about the same things with COVID-19. Are you here?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
you're back. All right.
Okay. So yes, I agree with you. It's important for us to be strategic. I always tell people, when you have to say no to something, do not think that another opportunity will not come for you to be visible, for you to be seen, for you to be heard, or to showcase your brilliance and what you can do. There are always opportunities. And even if these opportunities are not coming, by all means, you can create yours. You can create your own platform. Nobody says that, nobody said you must be on other people's platforms. You can create yours and bring other people to the table, right? So as young people, we need to understand the place of, strategy, and the place of, avoiding distractions. Now, when you have been able to define success on your own terms, and you have, like I talked about, making it smooth, developing a system, that's the strategy now, making it smooth, steady, and simple. You don't want to get yourself involved in anything that's too complex, because you will just burn out or overwhelm yourself. Now, making it steady. Steady is when you develop a system that is steady. It helps you build and boost consistency to stay through the course. Now, and to of course, and to embrace the process. Now, something else that is smooth. Most times we don't always have smooth, but in creating your strategy, develop something that you don't have to, that's not too complex, that is, smooth, as the word says, smooth. Now, the next is recruit your stakeholders. Your stakeholders are the people you need in your journey. The people you need. Do I need Karima to get to where I'm going to? Then I reach out to her. Do I need Eno to go to where I'm going to? Then I reach out to him. Because like I always tell young people and even my peers, you cannot do life alone. Why would I have a business and get in a head of operations or director of projects? Because all of us come together to make the vision work. So you need to recruit your stakeholders. It's funny when I use the language recruit, but I use it because, like in recruitment, you determine, people come in and, you as the interviewer, you know who you want to fit into the position that you have, right? So you don't have to take on everybody. You don't have to take on everybody. And it's not everybody within your network that you would always need for certain projects that you are handling. So you need to know, who do I need now? Who do I need for this project? Who do I need for that project? Project A, project B, project C, who do I need to move to my next level? Okay, so I want an internship in this organization. Who do I need? We need to always be strategic about recruiting our stakeholders, the people who help us get to our next level, basically. And I'm emphasizing again that I use the word recruit because you are the one to define who you want in your room, who you want in your space, who you want in your circle. As a transformational leader or an aspiring one, you cannot just have everybody in your space. You need to be strategic about the people you choose to ride on your journey with you. Now, when you say no to people, or when you say no to opportunities, you're not actually just saying no, but you're giving room to what I call the next opportunity. No, for me, I have come to define no as next opportunity, N-O. So when I say no to this opportunity, or whenever somebody says no to me, because you are going to find, you need to be able to embrace rejections. Look at all the big and transformational leaders that we've had. Not everybody, the Abraham Lincolns, the Nelson Mandelas, you don't always have people saying yes to you all the time. So when someone says no to you, or when you have to say no to someone, something, or an opportunity, it's only paving the way to the next opportunity. It gives you the room, the clarity to say, okay, I didn't really need that. Or when someone says no to you, you're able to now have the time enough to focus on what you really need to focus on. Because if they said yes to you, you'll be, enveloped in that. So never see no as a bad thing. When I teach resilience, I let people know that even in adversity, for some people, rejection is a huge adversity for them. But you need to be able to build the emotional intelligence. It's one of the things that transformational leaders must build as an attribute. Okay? So next is employ routines. I've talked about routines, routinizing your life. What is your routine? What do you do per time? What do you do per time? I'm not going to overflog that because I've mentioned it and I'm sure we understand. Now, the next S is serve. Figure out how you can serve. Everything is not going to come to you on a platter of gold. Everything is not going to come to you at opportunity or how small the opportunity. Serve. Serve. Leadership is all about service. So if you're not in the place of service, how can we know what you can offer? Right? So you need to serve. You can serve as an intern. You can serve in any capacity as a volunteer, in any capacity, but serve. And even when you achieve, even at certain levels, or I would say at my level right now, I still serve. Not everything is not about money. Everything is not about the income. That will always come, but you need to be found in the place of service. Stay on track. That's the next point. Stay on track and not under pressure. I talked about the Instagram lifestyle. Everybody wants to show that they have it all figured out. No, that's why as a leader, you need people and you need to stay productive. Stay on track and not under pressure. You're not, and you would understand this if you had followed the IPSL I initially talked about in my introductory presentation. If you have identified if you have defined your identity, and your purpose, you know that the person you're seeing, it's not your competition. So don't put yourself in this. You need assertiveness to be able to stay on track, such that, distractions from here and there, the lifestyle of other people are not impending on yours. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is your ability to measure your Okay, we're back. So capacity is very important. Capacity is very important, So this is the season, this is the time to build your capacity. Who do you need to connect with? Find them, connect with them, get a mentor, get a coach. Like I think Dr. Eno said that you need a professional to guide you through your personal branding. You also need a professional to guide you in how you can be, effective. For some of you, you may not know how to develop, winning routines that would help you scale and optimize your life. Get help, okay? So I think that's about it. I would like for us to, interact at this point in time before I give us a rundown of the attributes that we need, like those particular maxims that we need to optimize our personal effectiveness in order to achieve, in order to transform our lives. Is there anybody that has anything to say? Okay, so yeah, I've talked about awareness and accepting responsibility. You also need to be accountable. You need to learn how to take action and be accountable for your actions, right? Now, the next is boldness. Nobody's going to give you what you want on a platter of gold. You need to work for it. You need to work for it, and you need to come boldly. Believe in yourself that what this goal that you're trying.
Hello?
The target that you can achieve it. It may look like a very grandiose goal, but when you okay, next is your creativity. These are the 7 C's for personal effectiveness. Creativity. Build upon your creativity. Exercise your mind. Don't just be a consumer. Also try to be a creator. I also try to create things, create something. Have control. Control is the next one. Have control. Because if you are not the one in the driver's seat of your car, the driver, whoever the driver is, will take you to just about any place. Be the one over what you want to do and where you're going. And then next, the 4th C is commitment. Be committed to your goals. Be committed to your advancement. Be committed to where you want to get to. Next is categorize. Not everything matters now. You may have 10 goals you want to achieve in 2020. Categorize them. Because
Hello? I myself lost power. I don't know what's going on today.
That is serious.
Yeah, yes. I myself, I had power cuts. A lot of participants experienced internet issues today, and wow. I don't know what's going on.
That's serious.
Yeah.
Put all your 10 fingers in the mouth at the same time, you're going to choke. So categorize everything around you. Who is this and local? What is urgent? What delegate? So categorize these things because you don't want to choke yourself up. You cannot achieve productivity and peak performance if you are, trying to do everything at the same time. So know what to do now, know what to do later, know what to delegate, know what to not do. All right. So consistency, we've talked about that. And then next is competence, build competence. I'm not going to hire you if I don't see you as having the competence, right? I'm not going to hire you if you do not have the competence. So build competence, build competence. If you need to take courses, if you need to go through an internship, whatever it is you need to do, build the competence for it. Now, the next is connect and collaborate. Connect and collaborate, very key. You know, I'm here by virtue of my connection with Karima. If Karima had not known me, she would not bring me up on here, you know. And the funny thing, the beauty of this connection is that my brother here made it possible, okay? So it's all about having the right network. It's all about having the right network. I'm in touch with Karima today because Dr. Eno made that possible.
That's true.
The network is really bad.
Right?
Yeah.
So you need to build relationships. You may be the visionary, but you're not necessarily mean a bad thing, you know? Now, when you call yourself a executive officer, it only means one thing. It means that you are executing. People just like the nomenclature, CEO chair or be in a boardroom, chief person executing. You are the one, you know? So don't just want to achieve and attain success. You need to begin to move to significance, you know?
Okay.
Be disciplined. I'm just sharing a couple of attributes that our young
If
people can, you know, grasp in order to, you know, be disciplined. You want to say something, Karima?
yeah.
Okay.
Again, if I want to ask you the same question as I asked Dr. Eno about the don'ts, you know, and also about the 3 top things that you think is really, really valuable for young people to take on from what you've been saying.
Okay. Now, for me, it's be a person of integrity. You cannot build anything sustainable if you lack integrity. You cannot build anything sustainable if you lack integrity. So build integrity, develop integrity, harness your integrity. And I know that sometimes it's tough, it's difficult because you meet all kinds of people every day who make you question your integrity. But if you can stay firm, you know, people will want to associate with you, people want to do business with you, you know. So build your integrity, be a person of integrity. And of course, the underlying advice under that is be a person of value. Because if you are not offering value and you are not, you know, you don't have integrity, there's really no, you can't go far, you know, you can't go far. The next thing would be, what are the 3 things now? There's so much to always say, but
Yeah.
you know, there's so much. But the second thing would be process. Embrace the process. Embrace the process. You know, too many young people want to start off today and be a billionaire tomorrow.
It's happening again.
Yeah. Probably maybe we should wrap up right now. Maybe take advantage to get the few recommendations that we would take on from both presentations, and I think they are complementary, so that we can build on that for our reporting for this session. And also, as I said, we're going to edit the session, of course, to delete all those cuts and broadcast it again. But it would be important if we got top key recommendations that we will build on. Yeah. Maybe I can start with you until she comes back.
I'm sure she'll be okay.
I hope your connection do not stop.
Okay, so
I think there is something going on today, because I think everyone was writing me that they having issues of connection. We admitted everyone, but still a lot of people could not connect to Zoom. We got a lot of cats. I don't know what's going on.
I think she's
back.
Yeah, I'm trying to take advantage of you having connection right now, so that you can tell us the recommendation before you went off again.
Okay. I was talking about three things, and I talked about integrity, embracing the process, and the final one I want to say is do not wait for external validation. You know, most times, especially women now, we want people to validate us. You know, we want people to make us feel that we are enough. No, self-validation is what I live on right now, you know, and it's important for professionals, for people, you know, career professionals, business professionals, you know, employees as well, to understand that, you know, whatever validation you're seeking outside, it starts from within, you know, so do not wait for anybody to validate you, you know. So integrity, embracing the process, and the embracing the process comes from what I always say.
Let me turn to Dr. Eno for your last words. I think we need to wrap up this webinar, as we are all experiencing issues, but of course I will be back to you to get me some insights and some recommendations, so that we can post it all along while we're preparing for the live session of this webinar. Go ahead.
Okay. I hope my network doesn't go
Yeah,
off.
I know. I see that your network is also so bad.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. So going on. After saying everything we've said today, I essentially believe that we need to read more about what we want to do. What is it you want to do? Research, study it, get to know it. Let it be a part of you. For instance, if you ask Karima about diplomacy, I mean, you could wake her from sleep and she will tell you about diplomacy because it's become a part of her.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, if you wake me up today and say talk about personal branding, I will, because it has become a part of me. So you need to study more about the area you want to get into. Know it, be the expert in that field. Know everything you need to know about it, so that when you're talking about it, you are bold and you're confident to stand and actually discuss your area, the area that you've gotten into. So I believe the best thing to say is study. Just study more.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Eno. Shirley, your last words before you losing connection.
Okay, I think I've said so many last words. Just be yourself, do what you need to do, and stay stay golden. Go through the process. Nothing happens overnight. The place of branding in between out. I'm about building my own brand now. So I believe that every young person, and sometimes we believe if we had known what we know now, we would not be here. So we would have advanced beyond where we are. So as you study, as you develop your skills,
Yes, okay. Thank you so much. I think we will have to wrap up this session. Thank you so much, Dr. Eno, for being here with us. Thank you, Ms. Shirley Hills, for being with us, although we experienced a lot of connection issues today. But I think it was really interesting. We're learning a lot, and I think we're going to rebroadcast it for our participants of the Academy, but also to wider audiences, because I kept receiving a lot of messages from people who are interested in the topic and wanted to join but experienced internet connection. So we will be editing this video and then we will broadcast it live, taking some of your great words today to post it on our social media platforms so that our followers would be learning from the great insights of your presentation. We've been taking a lot of notes from this presentation.
I think she's gone.
okay, are we wrapping up?
Yeah, we are. I think Karima has gone off again.
Uh-oh. Network today has been crazy. But it's all good. I think we had a great session.
Yeah.
Actually, I have a question. If you may give me the... Okay. So, what is your advice to people, young people that actually want to work in many files in the same time and want to succeed in all of them in the same time? So, can they actually succeed in them even if they give time to each file? For example, our sustainability, law, diplomacy in the same time, or they should just choose one and just work on it to make their just to find their own personality.
Okay. I believe that it's important for you to take one step at a time. You remember I talked about moving with your 2 feet at the same time. It's very impossible. It's possible to get everything you want in life, but not at the same time. So this is my opinion, right? This is my opinion because I'm a multi-talented and multifaceted personality myself. So I do quite a lot at the same time, but I had to start from somewhere. So you need to start and mastery. You can't gain something before you move over to the next. Like Dr. Eno said, be the expert in your niche. Study that niche to the teeth and be the expert in it. Right? So you need to develop mastery in one thing before you move to the next thing. Yes, you can still study. I'm not saying you cannot. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't do anything, but I'm just giving my advice since you asked, right? So, focus on one thing and then move over to the next. That's my opinion.
All right, thank you. I've been kicked out of the room several times.
Oh, welcome back.
So let's wrap up this session, and I will get in touch with you to identify a few of your most important advices and saying, so that we can start sharing them on our social media platforms. And then we will be editing this video eliminated all the kicked out of the room and connection issues. And then we'll schedule a live session next week on this. And then also we will be putting it on YouTube and sharing it for wider audiences. As I said, a lot of people are writing me now that they are interested in the topic. So it would be good to promote it widely on our Facebook, and also share it to our network so that they can benefit from the knowledge that we shared today. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So we will wrap up and have a nice weekend.
And
All
you
right.
too.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Stop recording. Bye-bye.